Yeah, is this Walter?
Yes, I have been dying to reach you.
Okay.
Yes, hi, Walter White. Yes, that's the dog picture because you said that you wanted to speak to that dog. And I prefer to just be called Miss White. That's how I identify. Proper pronoun.
Okay, Walter, you're talking all that shit. Go ahead.
Okay. This is where my issue comes in with some things that you say. And one of them is about men having babies, okay? So you said that I'm not a rage baiter. I'm not one to argue, yell, and scream. I'm not doing any of that. And I'm not going to disrespect you. Please don't do the same to me. That's all I ask so that we can have a conversation. Is that okay?
Sure.
So with that being said, if we're going by science, right? And you have a person that is born a woman or female, let's say female, because when the doctor gets you out of the womb, you have they identify you based on if you have, I don't want to get you demonetized or anything, a V or a P. Correct?
A vagina or a penis, yes.
Yes. So that's how you are identified. So when you're identified as a vagina, when you have a vagina, it says female on your birth certificate, correct?
Yes, because doctors make an educated guess based on your phenotype, yeah.
Not an educated guess, scientific test. You have to look it up in books because when you have a vagina, it is connected to a cervix, fallopian tubes, and an ovary.
Sometimes it is.
That is the female reproductive system. It's in every biology book known to man. When you grow up, that is your gender.
Okay.
It's female.
Miss White.
Wait. We're just talking gender. All we're talking is gender.
Miss White. What you're talking about right now is phenotypic sex and not gender. And because you're talking about phenotypic...
Yes,
okay,
we are.
I'm sorry.
Because there's a difference between gender and gender identity. And I
Great.
think that's
Can you define gender? Can you give me a
definition
definition of gender, please? Can you give me a definition of gender, please?
Gender is what you're either born male or female. As it says on your birth certificate, anyone who pulls out their birth certificate...
Miss White.
When you pull it says male or female. Wait, I think you need to let me finish my point. So
you've made your point.
Cut me off and try to spin something, or you're going to mute me.
No, you have made your point, but you didn't give me a definition of gender. You gave me an example. I want a definition.
Even if you say so, okay, phenotypic gender. Okay, it's phenotypic gender, but it's not gender identity. So it's separate. Two separate things. When you are born, considered a male on your birth certificate, you have a penis, which is connected to your testicles and everything else. Now, when a woman or female decides they're going to go through a transgender surgery and becomes a man, even if they do have the bottom surgery, if they keep their female reproductive organs, hence the ovary, hence the fallopian tube, hence the uterus, which is used to carry a baby. Therefore, a man is not having a baby. A trans man is having a baby because that is their gender identity. Gender is fluid. It's fluid for everyone. And I'm not being rude when I say this. It's fluid where you have girls who like to dress as boys, just like it's fluid where you have boys that like to dress as girls. But you come on here and you say, and I respect your opinion because everybody's allowed to have one, and you say things that are definitive that are not facts in their opinions. I just heard you say to someone, we're not hunters and gatherers anymore. Yeah, you are. You're hunting for views and you're gathering donations and super chats. You're saying a lot of facts, but you don't back up your facts because a lot of the things that you say are opinions. Now I'm done.
Great. I asked you for a definition of gender at 2:55. At time 2:55. It is now time 4:48. You said specifically, I don't care about like half the stuff you said. You said it's your male or your female. That is not a definition. Those would be examples.
Gender is a social constructive role,
There we
behavior,
go.
expected association with a man, woman, or other identified distinction of sex.
There
It
we go.
encompasses gender identity and
There
you
we
asked
go.
the question, I'm giving you your answer.
Mhm.
It encompasses gender identity and a individual's internal sense of gender, gender expression, and how one presents their gender and social gender. Gender is a complex aspect of social that can differ from one's sex assigned at birth with diverse identities, including non-binary, transgender, or cisgender. As I said, one's sex
Yes, thank you.
assigned at birth.
Thank you. What was the
when
first
you
sentence
are
in that
born,
definition again?
I did. It is a it's a socially
Oh.
constructed rules, behaviors, and expectations.
Oh,
But you
socially
wanna only take the
constructed.
stop. Why am I not allowed to take the part that I want to take? Because what you do is take the first sentence. But when you actually look it up under Webster and the Oxford Dictionary, male sex or female sex with reference to social and constructive differences rather than biological ones.
Rather than biological ones. Crazy.
But that's what I just said.
No, you didn't. You said the gender is being male or female. This is
gender that you are assigned at birth is your biological gender.
Except both of the definitions you just read disagree with you.
Different.
Both of the definitions you just read disagree with you.
It still says that your gender is a biological. If you just said phenotypical gender. So
I've never used the words phenotypical gender. I've said phenotypic. Nope. I've said nope. I've said phenotypic sex.
Did say correct me.
I have said phenotypic sex because phenotypic sex is a biological.
So, but that's the sex you are born. So how is it that you're telling someone that a man can have a baby when that is not true?
Because man is a gender term, not a sex term.
A transgender man can have a baby because they still have a female reproductive system.
Okay, so
correct?
I can't believe we have to have this fucking. I can't believe we have to do this. Like, this is so crazy.
No, believe it. This is happening. Yes, believe it. This is
gender
happening. Someone who's
is
not
a
yelling,
gender.
Not being a MAGA. I'm
you're
not being one of those people.
Jesus
I'm saying
Christ.
to you.
No, what you're doing is you're not stopping talking. What you're currently doing is you're talking without taking a breath. So a conversation has to be back and forth, not just I speak and never listen. Okay?
But when someone says, I can't believe this is happening, you said that in the beginning we weren't going to be rude to each other.
I think it's pretty rude when you just continue to talk and don't let me speak. Just FYI.
Okay.
Great. So again, per the definitions you've read, gender is socially constructed. It is not the biological part of our beings. That would be sex. There's a reason we have a different word for it. Gender talks about the social and cultural aspects of attributes and behaviors that are typically shown and or displayed by the sexes. So it's saying, hey, when we look at societies and we see males engage in these behaviors, these traits, whatever you want to call them, we connect all of these things to encompass another category called men. And when we see females engage in these things, they connect in a way to another category called women. And those categories are not inherently tied to some biological trait. They're tied to these social and cultural things. Which is why somebody who's a female can be tied to the social and cultural norms that men engage with and vice versa. So when I say...
But a man cannot physically walk into a hospital and say, I am 8 months pregnant.
Great. So trans men would be men, meaning
that's where my issue
trans
is.
Men, are men, meaning men can get pregnant. because a
No, but
trans
if you're
man
gonna say
is
that,
a man.
okay, so a trans man is a man. So what is a man that is born with a penis and testicles?
Well, since you just said it was a man, then that would also be a man.
So a man, so you're saying that a man who's born with a penis and testicles and no female reproductive system is considered a man, but a woman who becomes a man and still has a female reproductive system is called a man.
I'm saying a man would be considered a man because you prefaced that this person who has a penis and a vagina is a man. If they're not a man, then they wouldn't be.
Are saying, well, technically you're wrong in what you're saying because you have said in the past that someone is cisgender. So wouldn't the person born with a penis be a cisgender male? And the one that still has their ovaries and uterus, that would be a trans man.
The term cis and the term trans are adjectives. All they do is they describe the noun. So when I put the word trans in front of the word man, I'm saying this is a man who happens to be trans. And when I put the word cis in front of the word man, I'm saying this is a man who happens to be cis. They are adjectives.
But if you are talking and you have someone on your phone who is not educated and does not understand what you are saying, because I'm not sure how old your listeners are. I don't know how old your listeners are. But if you're going to sit here and say a man can go into a hospital and have a baby, that kid's going to sure fail that biology test. That kid's screwed. And those people are going to listen to you and be like, men can have babies. Yeah, okay. When technically it's a trans man that's going to have a baby because they still have what is considered by Webster's Dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, any encyclopedia, any biology book, they still have their female reproductive organs. That's why they're able to incubate and have a baby. Because
someone being male or female does not necessarily equate to whether that person is a man or a woman, because male and female are sex terms, man and women are gender terms, and while gender and sex have a correlation, they are not the same thing.
If I go out and I have an expensive ass surgery to get my breast removed, to get a penile implant, and I go and I get that expensive ass surgery, it's like when you buy a laptop, you either talk about you have a laptop or a MacBook, and you're going to say you got a MacBook because you spent all that money. So if somebody goes out and they have that expensive ass surgery, because I know people who have had it because I work in the medical field, and it's not cheap. And if you're going through all these steps, taking hormones to change your body, to identify as you see yourself in the mirror, don't disrespect them and just call them a man. Call them a trans man. Don't disrespect them and just call them a woman. Call them a trans woman. Because guess what? That is technically what they are.
It is disrespectful to refer to a trans person as
disrespectful because
it is disrespectful. It is disrespectful. It is disrespectful. It is disrespectful. It is disrespectful to refer to a trans person as trans if we are not specifically comparing or contrasting them to cis women. Just like if I was walking down the street, just like if I was walking down the street and I saw a black woman, it would be disrespectful for the very first thing I do to mention that she's a black woman instead of just talking about the fact that she's a woman. If the police are involved, they are comparing or contrasting you to another type of person. I'm talking about if we are not comparing or contrasting, it is disrespectful to refer to a person in any way that does not, at the very core of it, highlight their personhood first, and we can highlight their identities second. because we are not comparing some trans women will say, I prefer to be called a trans woman. That's fine. They are not a monolith. So I'm not going to treat every person like those people, because trans people are not monoliths. So one trans person thinking one thing is not what all trans people think.
And that's not what I'm saying. I know that they're different. I know everyone is different. But what I'm saying to you is, when you are speaking and you are saying, if you have people who are under the age of 18,
what are we doing?
Who are listening to
like, truthfully, what are we doing at this point?
And you are choosing to educate people on
like this, I'm gonna have a fucking stroke.
Accepting of everything. Okay, you're educating people on being. I get it. The government's got their own little agenda with trans people, and I get it. Their own little agenda, and there's always going to be an agenda, because there's an agenda with white, black. There's always some kind of agenda going on to keep us away from everything that's really happening in politics. All I'm saying to you is, I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, run your channel, this is your thing. I'm saying to you is that you're saying a man can have a baby when that is not the case. Because a man, someone born as the sex of a man, cannot physically have a baby. Someone born under sex of male cannot have a baby. They cannot walk into a hospital and physically have a cesarean.
What is a male?
I said sex of male. Sex.
What is a male?
Sex of male. Someone who is identified by the sex of male on their birth certificate cannot walk into a hospital and have a baby.
What is a male? A male can't just be somebody who is male. What is a male? What makes someone a male?
Okay, I'm going to need you to listen.
You're giving a circular stop. You're giving because I'm about to start being rude. You're giving a fucking circular answer, and it's so dumb. I said, what's a male? And you said someone born a male. That's a circular answer. It doesn't tell me what a male is.
That's not what I said.
Yes.
Someone who is born with the sex of male.
Great. A male is a male. A male is a male. So if my doctor messes my birth certificate up and says that I'm a female now?
What doctor? Well, I don't know.
Okay, then shut the fuck up about birth certificates. What is a male? What is if I'm pretend I'm an alien? Sabrina, sorry, I see. I'm now all confused. Miss White, pretend I'm an alien. Pretend I'm an alien who has no idea how humans reproduce. What is a male? Mm-hmm. Explain it to me, who has never been to Earth, who has no idea how humans reproduce. What is a male?
Someone who can produce sperm out of their penis that they are born with.
Somebody who can produce sperm out of their penis that they are born with.
Yes, you ask how they reproduce. How do males reproduce? They have sex with a woman, and sperm comes out of their penis and enters the vagina, and it attaches onto the egg in the uterus. And if it fertilizes the egg that is in the uterus of the female reproductive system, it's going to produce an egg. That egg is then going to grow into a little human inside of a little sac, which is surrounded by amino fluid. And then what happens is, after that baby comes to term, either it's going to come out naturally, or in some cases, the doctors have to go in and get it. But in order to do that, you have to have a penis, and you have to have sperm. And you need testes that go with it, because the testes hold the sperm. Any more questions?
So, I never asked you half of that. So I guess we're just I guess we're just in a fucking I guess we're just in a fucking I gave you your answer. Nope. I said pretend an alien doesn't know how humans reproduce, and tell me what a male is. I didn't ask you to tell me about pregnancy. I didn't ask you to tell me about amino fucking acids. I didn't ask you to tell me any of that shit. I said, tell me what a male is. That's what I asked you.
A male is someone that is born. It will say sex. Under sex on the birth certificate, it says M.
I'm sorry, what's a birth certificate?
So when they come out, wait, I'm not done. When they come out of come out and they're born.
Am I fucking in the Twilight Zone today? Am I in the goddamn Twilight Zone? Am I being fucking punked? Did one of you guys pay to have me punked? I swear to God, that must have happened.
Having intercourse, if you want me to explain that, I can. Then
I'm not listening to a goddamn word you say. I'm going to see how long she talks for. Great.
You hate me right now, don't you?
I didn't listen to a fucking word you said because it had no fucking bearing on what I was asking you.
I know you didn't listen to a word I said because you can't take me, and I'm okay with that.
I tend to tune out stupid. I tend to tune out
I
stupid.
have nothing against you.
I have a lot against you.
Oh,
but I tend to tune out stupid.
Me.
When I hear stupid, my brain just sort of like puts a mental block on it.
I get it. You probably know, I understand. No one has ever let you, release into them, so that can be hard to understand how reproduction doesn't happen.
Sure.
So
sure.
I mean, I'm explaining to you. Asked the question and I answered it.
Sure. I didn't ask you how reproduction works.
You asked me how does a male, if an alien came down, you wanted to know how a male reproduces.
Nope. I wanted to know what a male is.
Fertilizer.
I don't care about reproduction. I wanted to know what a male is. Nope. I said, nope, it is. It is. I said, pretend I don't know about human reproduction.
Down to earth, and they asked me what a male is. I'm going to tell them that if you're looking at a birth certificate, this is under sex, this is...
You heard it here first, folks. Your birth certificate determines your sex. It's just about what's on your birth certificate. Doesn't matter shit else. As long as your birth certificate says male, you're a male. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Please consider liking and subscribing for your daily dose of debates. I post new videos daily, so make sure to hit that notification button so you know when a new one drops. Also, shout out to my YouTube members. Membership starts at $2.99 and helps me to continue making content for all of you. Also, shout out to my Tier 4 members, Gib5500, Ovaltine, Sylvia Snow, Bamji, Kelsey K, Kelsey Dooley, Jake Gorshender, Marceline, Matthew Holloway, Kazim, Vampy, and Yemye. Thank you, members, for your support.